Joseph Campbell's take on suffering, if you don't know Joseph Campbell, he's no longer alive, but he's an expert on mythology and world's religions, I guess. And his take on suffering is a interesting, different, it takes off from a Buddhist precept, but it's an amalgam of many things that he had studied throughout his life. And his take on suffering is that there is nowhere and no one in the world who won't experience suffering. And what's amazing about it is if you can just understand that, okay, that's part of how we are born into this world. And that part of it, acknowledging that your sorrows can also lead you to something exciting and fervent and passionate, that's what he's saying. So how do you start embracing the parts that you judge as negative or terrible or bad or destructive or shouldn't be happening? How do you use that as fuel for purpose? It's a very powerful way of thinking about your life. I didn't know who this was when I said this the other day, but I found it. Listen to this quote. Leonard Cohen, the musician, says, "Ring the bells that can still ring. Forget your perfect offering. There are cracks in everything. That's how the light gets in." All of your stuff, your sorrow, your pain, your stuff is what's creating the cracks. It's creating your vulnerability, your openness. Stop trying to hide it and save it for, I can't show that, it's too ugly. Somebody will judge it. As you all see in the work, that's all we ever really want to see. That's what people get nominated for. The things that you have judgments about are the things that are really letting the light in. I just want to say one last thing that I think is very interesting. You know, I've been thinking a lot about this, is that we are, I think especially here in LA, sometimes the challenge is because we go through long periods without maybe getting work or finding something fulfilling, creative. So we have these great desert, swaths of desert that we're like, what am I doing with my life? And how am I going to find myself to be fulfilled and creative? And I started thinking, well, part of it is we're like zombies. We all wear the same clothes, we all listen to the same music, we all buy the same products, and it's an emphasis on mass-produced sameness. The entire media advertising machine is established to create conformity and make you fit in. And what's interesting about it is that is the death of your own self-expression. Every time you want to be like what you think the media is saying you should be, it just kills a part of you. And you know, some of you can roll your eyes and say, "Oh, Tony, that's so dramatic." But not really, just think about it. I was even thinking about this today. I don't do this much anymore. Some of you know I even went like a whole year without a TV. But like that whole system is designed so that you become numb and sensitized to your own life force. So I just said there that you become numb and desensitized to your own passion or to your own life force. And you don't even realize that you're doing it. Just think about it. Have you not ever and listen, everything is all about balance. There's nothing wrong with having a lazy day and staying at home and just laying on the couch all day. I'm not talking about isolated moments in your creative life. I'm talking about when you find yourself staying on the couch 24/7, watching other people's creative output of stuff that is often garbage, and you've discovered, I'm too lazy now to get up off the couch and do something. But that's its purpose. You don't even realize it. Terence McKenna said it, and I keep co-opting this phrase. I wish I'd made it up. You have to stop consuming culture and start creating your own culture. That's how you wake up and get passion back into your life. What does that mean? That means you are the catalyst to create what has never been created. You are the vehicle to express that which has never been sung. You are the idea that has been planted to write that which has never been written. You are in the inspiration to become that which has never been acted before. All of us are that. But you're not going to get it by watching other people in a mindless, numbing way. Stop reading magazines that don't make you feel good about yourself. Stop watching TV that makes you feel inert. Create your own news. Create it yourself. This time and space of now is where your point of power is at. And when you fall into the trap of what the media is telling you, what you need to pay attention to or what you need to put your focus on, telling you is important? It's not. Just think about it. Think about any big story. Now, I'm not talking about like, okay, Obama got elected. That's great. That's important news to get. That's something inspiring and uplifting. The Berlin Wall fell down 20 years ago. That's uplifting. It's inspiring to see where humanity can go. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about stuff that you know when you're watching it is toxic. It doesn't make you feel good, but you watch it anyway. Why? Because it's habit. Why? Because you're numb to it. Why? Because it seems easier than having your own fire lit in some way. And so think about those stories. Do you even remember them from 2 years ago? I don't. Oh, watch at 11. It's a big news story. Really? I watched a little, last night I came home and I was having dinner and I did turn on the news. I never watched the news. And they kept doing that. They kept saying, ooh, this woman has something stored in this is a true story. She has something stored in a refrigerator. We're going to show you in a minute. And I was like, oh, I want to see it. And then they kept coming back to it every 5 minutes. But then they were like, go into a commercial break. For 20 minutes, they strung me along. And I was like, what does this GD woman have in her refrigerator freezer? She's had it for 30 years. I thought it was like a dead body of some sort. So then they finally did the big story. She takes it out. She's from Clearwater, Florida, where 30 years ago it snowed. She captured snow and has had a snowball in her freezer for 30 years. Now, listen, people, but this is the media conglomerate that we're dealing with, and you don't realize it. You guys, it's not about anything. It's all empty calories and a distraction from you. It's a distraction from who you are, from your beauty, from your potential, from your talent, from your sex, from your passion, from your hopes, from your fears, from your growth, from your potential. It's all about getting away from you to be over here, because over here must be where it's at. It's not. You are where it's at. You are where it's at. It's up to you. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to say. I think there's some exciting stuff to think about there. Oh, one more thing before we... Oh, I think we can stop and I can do this off camera. So that is your New Year's message of passion.